Welcome to the Town Hall Get to Know broadcast. We are so pleased that you're joining us this evening. If you happen to be watching on Facebook or YouTube, remember to share this video out to your friends in the groups that you belong to. I have a very special guest this evening with us, Jaime DiDomenico. I think I pronounced that correctly, but Jamie is a great guy. He's actually been on this show before last year, and he's a very successful business person. Tonight, we're talking about entrepreneurism. We're talking about businesses, making good choices and doing the things that it takes to actually run a successful business. And so, if you know somebody that is trying to start a business, certainly make sure that they're aware of this broadcast, because we're going to be going over a bunch of really important things this evening. I want to tell you just a little bit about Jamie before we bring him in. He is the CoolToday man. Yes, actually, his company is called CoolToday. It's three different companies. It's plumbing, it says air conditioning as well, and electrical, as I understand. And they've been growing this business for a very long time. It originated back in 1964 as N&M Heating and Cooling. And then he purchased this company, which had a very good reputation, and he's carried it forward and continued to make it a huge success here in the Sarasota area. And he is being established. His vision is as Florida's best home service company, and he creates long-lasting relationships with his customers. It's resulted in a service agreement where he's got a client base of over 15,000 clients. He was born in Brooklyn and raised in Eastern Long Island. And Jamie's been down here in Florida since 1981. He originally lived down in Boca Raton, and he was there for about 23 years. He's been in this area and started learning about HVAC back in 81 in electrical and plumbing. He purchased N&M in 2004. He loves the west coast of Florida. He is a local resident here in Sarasota. We're so very proud of him, and we appreciate everybody that has taken time to come and join us. So without further ado, let's bring in Jamie. Well, good evening, Mr. Domenico. Would that be pronounced correctly?
DiDomenico.
DiDomenico. Yeah.
DiDomenico. Okay.
DiDomenico.
Sorry for butchering your name there.
That's okay. A lot of people have.
Welcome.
Thank you.
We are so glad to have you back this evening. And tonight we're going to be talking about business. We're going to be talking about your success as a leader in business here in this area in Sarasota, Manatee. And I believe you're down in Charlotte County as well, too.
Well, we are down in Charlotte, but we've also expanded our offices down to Naples and up to Tampa. So we are basically a West Coast company now.
Wow, that is so awesome. See, just continuing to grow. And I know that last time that you were here on the show, you came in. By the way, folks, this is one of his vans around town. You see him all over the place. He's got a bunch of them. I think the last count, it was like 187 trucks out there on the road.
Give or take. Yeah, that's about right.
You see him all over. He's definitely a celebrity on TV as well. He's got commercials out there, doing a great job. As a matter of fact, our local family business has been networking with them for years. When we need plumbers, we know who to call. So we have to have some plumbing work sometimes with the tub refinishing that we do. But I'd like you to tell the viewers just a little bit about yourself, Jamie, and help them get a little bit more familiar with you.
Well, you did a great job with that, with the introduction. Yes, I was born in Brooklyn, 1961, and my father moved the family out to Eastern Long Island in 1963. And we were out there when there was nothing out there, out in the Patchogue, Bellport, Brookhaven area, which is Suffolk County. And that's where I spent most of my first 20 years of my life, was in Long Island. And very modest upbringing. My father was a barber, my mother a seamstress. My father was an entrepreneur, worked for people and started his own shop. ultimately closed his own shop, so he knew what business failure was as well. And they had 6 kids in a 3-bedroom, 1-bath Levitt home in Long Island. So I kind of knew what it was like to grow up very modest, modest parents. When I was going to school, I didn't understand what subsidized lunch was, but apparently I was on it. And for 5 or 6 years in a row, I couldn't figure out why my lunch was less expensive than my friends' lunches. Later on in life, I figured it out. So that's my start, and I did well in school because my father really was dictatorial about that, and I liked it. So I did well and graduated with a full scholarship to Hofstra University. Um, it was an academic, and I had some Pell Grants and stuff. So I went to Hofstra. I was originally going to be a lawyer. Not that I like to argue, but I really loved the idea of the law. And so I went to school on full scholarships, first time away from the family. I wasn't really disciplined and didn't do well. Even though I had the academics, I didn't apply myself. I did not have good time management and join a fraternity, and you know where that leads. And that didn't last. And second year in, I had to leave because my scholarships were ending, and I couldn't afford. At the time, it was, I think, $85 a credit hour. It's a private school, so it wasn't cheap back in early '80s. I think I lost your volume there, bud.
It would help if I had the mic on.
There you go.
I said that was a lot of money back in 1980. Yeah.
Very much so. So that was the first third of my life, if you will. I'm 59 now, so it's the first third. So when I was going to get kicked out, I dropped out, and my sister was living in Boca Raton, and her husband was in the construction industry. So I moved to Florida and lived with them for a little while I was a laborer on a construction site. And you work in construction outside in Florida for 3 months on a hot roof carrying rebar. You realize I better go back to school. This is not really what I signed up for. So it was really an awakening there. But I first had to build up some money to move out of my sister's house and all that stuff. So I worked 2 jobs. I got a job at night working for a plumbing, heating, and air conditioning company in their warehouse doing the 11 to 7 shift at night. And I worked for a company called Cablevision during the day, which turned into Comcast eventually. And I was programming their set-top boxes in a warehouse. So we used to have dip switches and everything back then. So you programmed the set-top box for the subscriptions that people signed up for. So I worked that job. That was full-time as well. So basically I got home at 4:00, went right to sleep in the afternoon, woke up again around 10 o'clock and went back to work. I did that for probably about a year straight.
Okay. Well, certainly inside is better than working outside. That's for a definite sure in Florida, like you said.
Yep. Yeah. And I never, getting into this trade was really a lark. That all stemmed from this job I took on this night shift. And I had an opportunity to move into their accounting department. I got off the night shift, went to the day shift, and worked in accounts payable, and then I had an opportunity to move up, and then I started going to night school. And back then, you didn't have online. You know this, Stephen. You had to take whatever courses they had at night and on Saturdays, and luckily, I got my associates through a community school, and then I went to a school called Nova Southeastern, and they had a bachelor's degree in management, and so it was taken classes 2 nights a week, 4 hours a night, and every other Saturday for 2.5 years to finish
Wow.
my bachelor's.
So
So I did.
so you felt that the getting that education was definitely an important factor in helping groom you for, like where you are today.
Well, actually, I didn't know I was going to be here today. I thought, when I started working in accounting, I said, I'll just work and I'll become a chief financial officer or something for a big company. I always had big goals. Um, when I was a kid, to having new shoes was a big goal for me. To wearing the latest fashion was a big goal. To having a nice car was a big goal. But I always made those goals. I always try to make those goals, and I did it through working hard. Um, some of us get very lucky, and some of us work hard, and some of us get a little bit of both. Um, I've had a little bit of both in my life, and so when I got into this trade, it was really lucky, even though I didn't think it was going to be long term, because
Mhm.
back then it was always mom and pop. It was dad and mom and their kids and their cousins and their nephews, and this was the air conditioning business. It wasn't corporate. It wasn't. There wasn't room for advancement. But a lot of that changed when I got into it. After I got into it, um, there was a thing in the '90s called consolidation, where they try to do roll-ups on companies like this, and that's when I got my first opportunity after working at this company called Encore Service America from 1981 to 1997. I had an opportunity to go into a consolidation as a vice president and travel around the country and help acquire companies and put together a multi-million dollar um, company. And that's what we did between 1997 and 2003. We built a $300 million company uh,
Wow.
with, with invested money from a utility out of South Dakota. So we did that, and that failed in the early 2000s, and this consolidation effort stopped too because the methodology didn't work on these companies. You couldn't centralize a lot of things. There were really no economies of scale, and so the experiment didn't work because the company we were doing it for went bankrupt for bad investments in another industry.
Ah.
So at that time, they had to dispose of these companies, and they had this little company in Sarasota called N&M. A friend of mine called me up and said, "Hey, we should buy this thing." And I said, "Well, I don't know if I can write a check for it and do it on my own." They said, "Well, you know what? Me and another guy will go in with you 50-50 if you move there. That's the only way we'll invest." And I said, "Fine." So I put up my half, and we bought N&M in March of 2004. We closed on it March 10th, 2004. It was a 40-year-old company, and it was 17 employees. And at that time, about 11 trucks on the road. And it was a stodgy old company. They had a good reputation, like you said, but um, they weren't up to date, and they stopped advertising for a year or two, and they didn't really push their presence, and so it was a rebuild for me.
Well, and
And
I understand that they had good ethics to begin with as well, and I think that
yeah,
that was attractive to you as well.
oh, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's rule number one. And if you're going to go into business, ethics is number one. And if you're going to buy a business, make sure that business has done ethical practices.
Mhm.
It's hard to build. It's hard to build a house on sand, right? You got to build it on.
Yeah.
You got to build it on a rock foundation, and solid rock foundation of good culture with good ethics, good customer service is key.
And I completely agree with you. Um, Now you call yourself, the Cool Today man because you are. I would like you to share with the viewers about branding yourself and how that's an important factor in business.
Well, it's interesting because I was always shy about that originally. I hired a company to help me. So when I bought the company in 2004, N&M, it was a difficult name to brand.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I tried for about 2 years, and halfway into 2006, I said, "This is not working." And I noodled it around, and I came up with the name called CoolToday. And I thought it was kind of a neat name, and it signified speed of service, and that's what we do. And so the rebranding effort started there, and changed colors, went to lime green trucks, and really pushed on the service delivery part and the great customer service. And the thing that I got involved with it when I hired my marketing agency called Brand Story Experts in 2008, 2009.
Okay.
Um, and we tried it. I was doing canned commercials. They said, "You really need to be part of the brand." I said, "No, I got a face for radio. This is not something that I don't think I'm any good at." And they said, "Your experience and your passion and your vision will translate to the customer. So you need to do it." And I did it somewhat reluctantly because I didn't want to be forever linked to the brand, because someday in my life, I guess I was thinking about retirement or whatever. So
Right.
delinking that is a little complicated.
Yeah.
Um, and you see it sometimes, I mean, Apple is lucky enough to have done well without uh, without Steve Jobs,
Right.
but investors are always nervous about that. And Tim Smith, or is it Tim something anyway.
Yeah.
Um, he has done a great job, but he's done it very quietly in the background. He's no Steve Jobs. So
Right.
Apple was fortunate, but we've seen time and time again where corporations aren't the same. Take a look at GE since Jack Welch left. Uh, Not the same. So I certainly didn't want to leave a legacy like that. But being as it is, my intention wasn't really to brand myself, but I am definitely linked to the brand,
Yeah.
and I'm the number one brand ambassador. But remember, when you're pushing a brand, you're pushing, in my business, is service business. I'm pushing my people, because I have full confidence in the people that work for our company. That is the brand.
Yes, it is the brand. I don't have that picture here, but there was a picture that I put in the post that has and I know that goes back a few years, of all your employees, and you're standing out in front of your employees in
Mhm.
your parking lot there. And I know that from what I've learned about Cool Today is that it's very oriented, of course, for customer satisfaction, but their employees, your employees, are super important to you to make them feel valuable. And you have some really good employees, is what I understand.
Have great employees, and I'm sure most owners say that and really believe it, and I think that's part of the pride thing. This is what I say to my team. I said, if you look at our competition, we're in a you can't swing a dead cat in Sarasota and not hit an air conditioning company somewhere. And so if you look at that and you say to yourself, okay, you could buy a professional website for about $3,000 to $4,000. You can sign up for leads right away on Angie's List or Home Advisor. They got all these lead aggregators out there. You could buy the same software, buy the same trucks, buy the same tools. Why is it do we get the honor of being the number one brand in Sarasota by far in size and recognition, right?
Hmm.
Um, and how do we get repeat customers and a growing customer base and a high referral base and a net promoter score that's off the charts? How do we get those? How are we fortunate to get those? Was it the systems? Was it the trucks? Uh, was it a fancy marketing? At the end of the day, no. The only difference is the people. That's what makes the difference.
Hmm.
Uh, the difference between two service companies, one being successful, one not as successful, is people. Has nothing to do with the computers,
Yeah.
website, marketing. It's people.
And I agree 100%. And so that sounds like what you're talking about too is long-term relationships and developing those relationships with not only your employees but your customers as well
Yes.
too,
Yep.
so that they
Yep.
keep on coming back and that they tell their friends.
Yes. We build lifelong relationships with our customers, our employees, and our community. That's the triad for us. That's our mission statement. And we always want to deliver the very best, help people get the very best from today,
Hmm.
and always take care of people.
Yep.
So, in order to do that, you have to, if you say it, you got to mean it, and you have to do it.
Yes. Turn me back on. Oh, I am on. Okay. Um, I'm being asked to go to the Braves, but he's trying to take it away from the business aspect, and we can come back to business.
That is business.
That is business, exactly.
That,
Of course, we know that you're a huge Braves fan. We've got spring training coming up this year or this next year. Last year it kind of got shut down. We got some pictures here that we'll show. Uh,
Mhm,
I happened to be there on opening day because of my brother and his season tickets. It was a
mhm,
great day. It's a wonderful ballpark. You got involved with the Braves. This is from that day,
mhm.
um, with myself and my granddaughter and my brother Randy. Uh,
Absolutely lovely young lady. I met her.
Yes, and we got a picture here where we were standing in your owner's box, and,
Mhm.
it's so wonderful. It's truly, to me, one of the finest ballparks I think I've ever been in my life. Just spectacular. How did you come to be involved with the Atlanta Braves?
That's a great story. So my partner, the guy who called me to go in partnership when I first bought N&M, he went on to buy one of those companies in Atlanta called Coolray. And in 2011, he had the opportunity to partner with the Braves and their new not spring training, their new minor league team in Gwinnett called it's called Coolray Field, but it was a brand new stadium. And the Braves, the minor league Braves, AAA team, was playing there, way up in north of Atlanta. And I can't remember the county, but it's uh, it's up there in northern Atlanta. So it is probably a 2-hour drive from Truist Park where they're playing now. So he had the opportunity to partner with them on a 15-year deal, and that's when he first got a connection with the Braves, and so he was a minority share partner in my business. So lo and behold, when the Braves announced that they were moving here, he said to Braves management, "Hey, I hope we get an opportunity, at least to try." And so this was in early 2018. Let's see, yeah, because it opened March of 2019. So in early 2018, I started talks with them, and you know, I I met them. It was very engaging. Um, I uh, and a little secret inside baseball here, no pun intended. I tried to buy the naming rights for Charlotte Sports Park, where the Rays are, in 2016. That was after um, they were going to name it Mosaic Park, and then the public went absolutely nuts because Mosaic has a bad public relations with the polluting Peace River.
Right.
So I tried to get the naming rights for it, and it just was going nowhere. And I did a big partnership with them, and and it wasn't really going to work at the time. McKechnie Field, they were very protective of his name. What do you think about that now? So that wasn't happening, and I knew Ed Smith was off the table. So when the Braves came
Right.
up, my partner said, "What do you think?" And I said, "I'd like to talk to him." And I tell you what, that from the very beginning, that is a well-run organization. It is. They are top-notch people there, and I felt the difference between I put the Braves up there with the Yankees and the Red Sox. And, they're just a top tier organization.
Championship quality.
They are, and almost this year. So I knew it was a really good opportunity, and I tell you what, for some reason, didn't have that much competition. I think I had one of the hospitals look to do something, but we were fortunate in that we were in there first, and we were in certainty, and they wanted to move fast, and we did, and we signed a deal in late October and announced it in December of 2018. That's going to be CoolToday Park, a 20-year deal. So it is my legacy, no matter what.
Yes, it is.
I will be 78 when the renews the next time.
That is so awesome. It's such a great park, and you do more than baseball there. You've got concerts and other activities. It's very community oriented. I know that. And that's another thing that drew me to you as well, was your community mindedness and doing things for the community and getting that involvement. I think that's really, really important. Now, I wanted to talk. I'm very proud of you for that ballpark. I enjoy going there, by the way, and proud to know you. And I love the Braves. It's in our family for sure. Has been for a very long time.
That would be me.
That would be my brother. That would be my mother too. I mean, she's a big Braves fan, serious Braves.
That's great.
But then, my mom was the manager of our little league team when we were a kid, so she was always loving baseball and involved. So that was pretty cool as well.
Very cool.
Yeah, it is cool. So yeah, we're very proud of you for what you've done with that, and as well your business too.
Just to add to that, I think our mother was the first woman manager of a little league team in 1973.
Wow.
It's got to be the first woman manager of a little league team. Now your sister can play, but my mom started it.
Wow.
It was pretty cool. The manager went away for, I guess, a vacation. Was it 6 weeks?
We won every game.
Yeah, we were on pretty good teams. As a matter of fact. It was great fun. I love baseball. Okay, so that's a really great success story as well. I wanted you to share with the viewers too some of these secrets, so to say, of success. One of the things I wanted to talk about and this happens, I think, in any business, because I know that you try, as well as we do with our family business, to keep everybody happy, no matter what. At all costs, we want a satisfied, happy customer, because the unhappy customer will tell all of his friends about how he's not happy. So when people get negative reviews, how do you feel is the best way to deal with negative reviews? So if one of our viewers is out there and they're getting some negative feedback for one reason or another, a lot of times you'll say, well, that doesn't make sense and blah, blah, blah. How is the best way to deal with those negative reviews?
Head on, respond right away. Number one. Number two is don't try to solve it on any social media platform. Just contact them separately and find out what they, I'm when it comes to customer satisfaction, I'm a believer in the rule of 99. 99% of the time, the customers have a point. There's 1% of the time where the customers are just absolutely unreasonable. Okay. And so I never really focus on the 1%. We tend to focus, as working as service providers and businesses, we tend to focus on the 1% because they're the really, they're really interesting stories with those, right? And I focus on the 99, and the 99% of the time, the customers have a point. Either we didn't do something fully, or we didn't deliver on something we promised, and I just make good on that. And my rationale to my customers and to my team is, we're an imperfect organization. because we have people in the organization that are not perfect. So we're going to be an imperfect organization. We have to be, we have to realize that we're going to make mistakes, but we have to be perfect at solving the mistakes once we know about them. So it's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to be imperfect, but we have to be perfect at solving them. So 99% of the time, I ask for perfection in making the customers as happy as we can make them. And if sometimes that's not doing it, the customers part ways with us nicely, fine. That's good too. As the ones that file negative reviews and BBB complaints, we simply ask them, if we take care of you the way you expected in the first place, recognizing that we are imperfect, will you please either update your comment or change your rating? That's all we ask. And then, you know what? Interesting enough, a majority of them do. And so, you know, you're going to get negative reviews, and that's one of the rules in business. Never let the few letdowns control your mindset. Right. Always have the mindset of being 99% positive. Everybody gets negative once in a while. Just like those 1% unreasonable customers, be 99% positive, and you'll have those 1% of your days that are just not very positive. But if you focus on the bigger prize, you tend not to let the little distractions in life take you off your game plan. So always focus on the bigger prize.
I think that is excellent advice. Yes. Because, you know, I recognize that I'm not perfect. I try and get things as close to perfect as I possibly can, but then customer satisfaction being so important, because I think that's what keeps a company in business for the long haul, is that when there was a problem, they dealt with it and addressed their customer and did everything that they could within their power to make them happy. I appreciate you sharing that.
Yep.
You talked about your staff and how your staff is important, and how is having regular staff meetings an important factor in a successful business?
So, yeah. So for me, you know, communication. I've never heard an employee say, my boss over communicates with me. Or I never had people in my company say, you know, the company over communicates with me. They always feel like there's not enough communication. So communication has to be a constant focus as you grow. So having, to me, the keys in communication are, number one, a rhythm of meetings. I like to call them a rhythm of meetings, where they're consistent, they're not drawn out, to the point, and they maintain communication at the basic level. So that gets your daily operations tune up. You get your weekly operations review, your monthly reviews. So these are rhythm of meetings, sales meetings, technical field meetings, safety meetings. These are the rhythm of meetings that are consistent. But they're not, just because you have those doesn't mean you're communicating, right? Because communication is about two-way. It's not always one way. And so the other way I think leaders should communicate is, I like to call it MBWA, management by walking around. Mm-hmm. And simply, even if you have a 4-person company and you got 4 people on 4 different jobs, go out to the job, meet them, bring them donuts, talk to them. How's a cup of coffee? How's it going? Now, no, I don't want to talk about business. How's your family? So and once in a while you'll hear things or see things that other people don't see. And your job is to tell that other manager or supervisor, hey, I just want to let you know this is going on. You may want to address that, right? So I call it management by walking around. The other key to communications is to survey your people. Now, in small companies, that's kind of dumb, but in bigger companies, it's very important. And you do private surveys, and then you get benchmarks, and you kind of learn from that.
That's a great idea. So you're actually surveying your employees.
Every year. We call it our employee engagement score. And we always strive to do better than industry average and average service companies do in this area. So it's something we build on, and we've done some better practices as a result of it.
Well, it's also important to get feedback from your customers, isn't it?
We get that a lot, and we use that as a basis of training. But getting feedback from your employees is a little more complicated because they always they tend to feel if they say something, they're going to be persecuted. So you have to make it sure it's a very safe environment. So a survey kind of helps that. And then I meet with my entire employee base 3 times a year. Excellent. And to give them company updates on how we're doing, what our goals are, our strategies. So, and then we have usually a New Year's kickoff party right after the first year. We have a party usually around February where we review the previous year and we give out awards, and then we look forward to the new year and a lot of gifts and bonuses and stuff like that.
Important. I remember that from my days in the healthcare industry, where yes, having recognition, because I think a lot of people in any given job, one of the biggest complaints I think is they don't feel recognized for what they're contributing.
Yep.
So that it's super important for management to recognize their employees. So that's a really good plan. Now, I don't know. I'm going to assume I could get in trouble on that one, but like I know from my foundation, the LWN Live with Nature Foundation, we implemented SWOT Plus. Are you familiar with SWOT as a analysis program talking about strengths,
weaknesses, opportunities, and threats?
Yes.
Yes, I'm familiar.
Yes, I'm sure, because it sounds like you've got all of that implemented within your business as well.
Well, that's good to look at that on an annual basis and then reviewing your strategy. SWOT is just a great way to analyze just the state of what is and people to focus on things. So we did that recently for talking about 2021. What's our SWOT? What's going to be our 600-pound gorilla that we're going to the big tasks that we're going to do.
Right.
So yeah, absolutely. That's a good management technique.
It is a good tool to be able to monitor and then to plan for the future as well, and then look at the past and see what's happened.
Absolutely.
What would you recommend to someone that might be considering becoming an entrepreneur, starting their own business? What kind of recommendations would you give to them?
And you know what? It's going to have nothing to do with education. It's going to have nothing to do with skill set from the technical standpoint. If you want to own a plumbing company, you don't have to be a plumber. And if you want to run a company, you don't have to have a business degree. What you need to be really good about handling stress. You need to be really good with people and communication. And you need to learn quickly and fix faster. If you can do those 4 things, you can go in any bit, the flower business, you can go into a retail shop, you can go into a restaurant business, you want to go into financial services, construction, you pick it, you apply those 4 things, you will be successful. You may not be the biggest, you may not be the very best, but you will make a living, and you will make a very good living.
So it sounds like interpersonal skills are really important.
In today's environment, more so than ever, because you and I, when we were working younger and we were just getting into the work world, we were being trained by the greatest generation. These are people whose parents went through World War I. They went through World War II, the Great Depression. These were hardened people, and they drove us, and we were driven by it. And our priorities were, family, God, family, career, and sometimes career took precedence over family.
Yes.
We would pull the double shifts. We would work the weekends to get overtime. But today, Gen Y and Gen Z, time is more important than money.
Right.
And they're interested in working for a company that has a purpose and the leaders have a clear vision and appreciate them. They don't take kindly to the beatdowns you and I used to get.
Right.
By the generation before us. So
let the door hit you on the way out.
Yep. Somebody else will come in and work. Not today. And then they go on Glassdoor or whatever other job posting and tell people how bad you are. So interpersonal skills are up there. A tenacity is up there. You can't give up easily. And you have to learn from the small failures you get every single day and to get constantly better. And once you get to the point where your organization is learning at a quick rate on how to do something well, then you will see things turn around. Everything wasn't wine and roses for me. There was times in 2005, I was worried about making payroll.
Right.
And 2008, it wasn't fun when in October of 2008 when the phone just kind of went shut off. They shut off.
Wow. Yeah.
I had off $200,000 in receivables, and these were tough times. But I always believed that we were doing the right things. We just weren't having the best of timing and luck, and we just have to keep working the model and getting better and better and better. And we just kept doing that. And, I was very fortunate that we had people who thought the same way, and we just pushed through it.
That's an important factor. And a lot of people today, because of COVID and the pandemic, have just had their world turned upside down on them. And, it seems like now is the greatest opportunity for people to maybe be their own boss and get out there and do something new and creative.
A lot of people are doing that, but they're running for safety. I think a lot of people they're getting a real estate license thinking, okay, this is great. And it is great. Right now, it's great. I mean, homes aren't staying on the market. There's a lot of great things happening for Florida, but plan that it's not going to last. And the strong will survive. So if you get into anything, go in all in. Don't dabble. And the other thing is the company will take more out of you the first 5 to 10 years than you get out of it.
Yeah. It takes a lot of work. That's a great point. And I think that it's important to know how much work it really does take when you're trying to get started and get rolling. And that your comment about don't give up is so important.
Yeah, it doesn't mean that you would give up, but people check out sometimes. You know what? I'm having a bad day. 2:00, I'm going home. I'm done. Right. I'm my own boss. I can do that. Yeah. What message are you sending to your customers and to your employees? Right.
Right.
So you have to stick it out to the end, and you have to keep getting back up again.
It's about
it's like Captain America. When he gets knocked down, he says, "I can do this all day." He gets back up again. I can do this all day. Right.
Yeah. You
got to be like Captain America.
Excellent. That's great advice. All right. I think we're going to just take a quick break here. We're going to go to a commercial. We do have a commercial here for you with a local company that is the Total Coatings. They do the bathtub refinishing. They use a safe and non-toxic product on their bathtubs and tile. Let's go to that commercial.
We let our bathtub go too long. It had rust in it. It had deep pitting in it. There were chips. I, quite frankly, thought it was unrepairable.
Total Coatings is a family-owned and operated bathtub and shower refinishing company. We've been around since 2006, but we use a exclusive non-toxic porcelain coating that was developed over 60 years ago by a franchise in California. So the product is very well established. We refinish bathtubs, showers, wall tile, countertops, and even sinks. Customers want to know what makes our product different, and that's, of course, the exclusive non-toxic porcelain. We also don't acid etch the surface, so you don't have to leave your home because of noxious fumes.
I was completely and utterly shocked. It looked like a brand new bathtub. I would recommend Total Coatings to anybody.
So if you're in the area here, Sarasota, Manatee County, just go ahead and look them up. They can take care of some bathroom needs for you and save you a whole bunch of money. Yeah, they refinish instead of replace. Saves people a ton of money. And then if you need a plumber, we know where to go. CoolToday, because a lot of times they run into plumbing issues.
Or electrical.
Or electrical issues, yes. Or if your air conditioning goes out, it makes it kind of tough. We don't really want to do it without air conditioning and 110 degrees in a bathroom either. So we need that air fixed. Awesome. So I just want to reach back out and let all of our viewers know we certainly appreciate you. You know, if you're just joining us, we have Jaime DiDomenico with us this evening of CoolToday. Get the best from today. From CoolToday. We certainly appreciate him. We've been talking about business. We've been talking about some things that are important to be successful in business, about entrepreneurism, about how Jaime took a company that was started in 1964. He's still around here today and covering the entire west coast of Florida and doing an exceptional job at that as well. So if you're just joining us, I do want you to go back. You can look at this video in replay. Certainly the easiest way is e360tv.com. You can watch us on Roku, Apple, Amazon Fire, as well as Android TV. Feel free to download those apps on your smart TV or go to e360tv.com. Under Positive Vibrations, you will find a couple shows here. The Town Hall Get to Know broadcast, as well as our Sunrise Daybreakers, which airs the Sunrise Daybreakers at 7 a.m. on Monday mornings. And then Town Hall Get to Know Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we appreciate all of our viewers. We do this to try and help you and educate you and share wisdom with influencers, people like Jaime and many others. You can go to our website too, lwnlivewithnature.org, lwnfoundation.org. And we've got some of our old shows on there as well, and it tells about what we're doing as a nonprofit foundation here in Sarasota, being a resource platform to help people and empower you and get you to resources that can help you become the best you can be. So again, thank you, Jaime. Here, I want to talk. We're getting towards the end of the show here, but I wanted to talk about how it's important to write a business plan and strategically figure out what somebody should do. They're thinking about getting into business for themselves.
Yes, and some people write business plans just to get loans or whatever, but you need to write a plan just to get your head around it. And I wrote a plan when I first bought N&M. I wrote a 15-year plan and a 20-year plan. So I had a 1-year budget, 5-year plan, and a 15-year plan and a 20-year plan. And it will, in the end of 20 years, is to grow this $2 million company to $40 million. And so you write out the plan, and you use that plan to show to your partners, your vendors, say, this is what I want to do. How can you help me get there? You help me, I'm going to give you a lot of business. And Carrier saw that very early on. We're Carrier dealer today in 2004. And, and I shared it with other vendors who probably thought I was crazy. And a lot of my employees who probably thought I was crazy. But the ones who are still here today say, oh my gosh, I can't believe we actually did hit that. And we not only hit your 20-year target, you hit it in less than 16. You hit it in 15 years. That's with a great recession in there too. Yeah. And I always thank them for that. So business plans are very powerful if they're thoughtful, simple, and communicated.
Yes.
You don't write a beautiful business plan with graphs and everything, you stick it in a drawer. You have to be thoughtful, they have to be simple, and they have to be communicated with your team and with your partners.
That's it. That's really important. And you talked about setting goals and how important it is to set those goals and use some imagination. And you always had big goals.
Very big goals. And sometimes too big of goals because we grew faster than we should have in some cases. But we caught up to it, and then we did it again. We did not sacrifice the customer service. We didn't sacrifice the quality. We just had to work a lot harder. Had some casualties along the way, so because obviously we had to work many hours, and especially during the summer. But we always parted friends with our employees, and some of them went on to do their own things and do some great things. So good consistent growth and good smart growth is very important.
There's been a lot of great information that you shared with us this evening, Jaime. For anybody that was thinking about getting into business or being an entrepreneur, or even making themselves even a better entrepreneur, because I believe in every day is an opportunity to learn, to grow. Do go back and watch this in replay. There's just a ton of golden nuggets in this episode this evening. We talk about it and refer to it as doing what it takes to create success. We've been talking about entrepreneurism and success stories. And Jaime, you've got a great success story. We really appreciate you sharing this with the viewers. Would you maybe want to just share some final thoughts with those viewers and share some of your wisdom that you haven't shared already? Maybe I can come up with a question for you. And I think it's a good one. And that's about being a leader. And how would you define a good leader?
Being a great leader is someone who is humble, committed, well versed, an absolute great listener, and somebody who collaborates. Those are the 4 qualities I would roll with as far as leadership, especially in today's working world. I think it's critical. And if you are the type of leader that you would follow, then other people will follow you.
That's a very good point. So be that person that you would want to be working for.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Model it in your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'd love to be 6 foot tall, but I just don't know. I know I'm not going to get there. Okay. So I don't dwell on those things, but I could dwell to be a better leader, a better husband, a better father. There's always room for improvement, right? So you always model what you want to be in mind. It's visioning, right? It's visioning.
I met your son. I thought he was close to 6 foot.
Yeah, I know. My kids are taller than me.
Well, one of the things that I also think that is important is to surround yourself with people that you want to be like. One of the things that I did was to go out and start following and paying attention and learning from the top influencers, people like me, like you yourself, and so many others that are inspirational, motivational, and serious, successful people. And when you start surrounding yourself with those people, their success concepts start rubbing off. And having imagination is so key and important in making those goals and then just working hard to achieve those goals. I want to thank I want to thank you very much this evening for sharing time and your wisdom with the viewers. We certainly appreciate everybody who has taken time to come and join us. Come back on Wednesday. We'll be here 7 p.m. And I'll look forward to having you back on the show in the future here, Jamie, if you'd be willing. And certainly, folks, make sure to share this video out with your friends and go back and watch it. E360tv.com. Check us out under Positive Vibrations. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bless you. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving holiday weekend if you're here in America. If you're not, we hope you had a great day. Thanks so much for coming.